Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Dr. Barkis Ophthalmology Tutorials. Today we will discuss about the surgical options and the procedures for epiphora. So in this video I will be discussing about the various surgical procedures which are done depending upon the site of obstruction in the lacrimal drainage system. Previous video on watering of eye, I have discussed about the various sites of obstruction and how to detect those sites of obstruction by doing various tests. So once you do all those tests, you will confirm the site of obstruction. Later, you will proceed with the surgical procedure depending upon the site of obstruction. Like for the punctal obstruction, we do the snip procedures. In the canalicular obstruction, we have conjunctivo-dacrocystorhinostomy, or also called as the Lester-Jones procedure. In case of sac obstruction or the NLD obstruction, we have dacrocystectomy, that is DCT, and the DCR, that is dacrocystorhinostomy, and the various subtypes of DCR. And for each surgical procedure, I will be discussing about the specific indications, the surgical procedure, as well as the advantages and disadvantages of that surgery. So without much delay, let's begin our video. So I have written here the surgical options and the procedures for epiphora. I have particularly used this word epiphora. It means that it has already ruled out other causes of watering, that is the hyperlacrimation. The causes of hyperlacrimation like the conjunctivitis, that is allergic conjunctivitis, or the blepharitis, or any foreign body, dry eyes, and even the opposition of the lid to the globe. All those causes are ruled out. So the causes which are left here are the obstruction to the lacrimal drainage system, which can happen right from the punctum, in the canaliculi, or it can be even in the nasolacrimal sac or the nasolacrimal duct. So depending upon the site of obstruction, we will discuss about the surgical procedures, what we do. So for the punctal obstructions, we have snip procedure, that is either 2 snip or the 3 snip procedure. In the canalicular obstruction, we have the conjunctivo-DCR, that is conjunctivo-dacrocystorhinostomy, or it is also called as the Lester-Jones procedure, In case of nasolacrimal duct obstruction or the sac obstruction, we go ahead with either DCT, that is dacrocystectomy, or the DCR, that is dacrocystorhinostomy. And in the DCR, we have various approaches like conventional DCR or the external DCR, endoscopic DCR, are also called as endonasal DCR, and the third one is the laser DCR. So these are the various types of DCR procedures. So let's discuss each one by one now. So in case of the punctal stenosis or the punctal obstruction, the surgery what we do is the snip procedure. It is either 2 snip procedure or 3 snip procedure. Procedure can be done under the local anesthesia only. So what we do here, this is the punctum. So there is stenosis here. In case of 2 snip procedure, we just give 2 vertical nicks here. 2 vertical nicks around 1 to 2 mm in depth. So it will open up the punctum. That is 2 snip procedure. In case of 3 snip procedure, along with the 2 vertical snips, a horizontal snip is also given. So the punctum is enlarged. If there are any bleeding vessels, it is gently cauterized with a cautery and the punctum will start functioning. So this is for the punctal obstructions. Next surgery what we have is for the canalicular obstruction. Suppose there is some obstruction in the common canaliculi or even the upper or the lower canaliculi. So there we can plan for conjunctivo-dacrocystorhinostomy. It is also called as Lester-Jones procedure. Here we use the Jones tube. It is a small pipe-like thing which is around 1 centimeter in length. So in this procedure what we do is we place the Jones tube, which is a tube-like thing, from the lower canaliculi. When we force it through the canaliculi, it will overcome that obstruction and it will enter into the nasolacrimal sac, thereby helping in the drainage of the tear film. It can be combined with the DCR surgery as well if you feel that there can be even obstruction at the NLD. If you are very much sure that the obstruction is only at the lower canaliculi, you can just place the Jones tube. So this is for the canalicular obstruction. So now coming to the important site of obstruction, that is the nasolacrimal sac or the NLD. The nasolacrimal duct, that is the upper half of the nasolacrimal duct, is the most common site for obstruction. So we have 2 main procedures here, that is the DCT and the DCR. The major difference between DCT and DCR is, in DCT you are removing the complete sac, whereas in DCR you are preserving the sac, but in DCR you are creating one more path for the drainage of the tear film, that is DCR. So what is the disadvantage of DCT? Here the patient comes to you with the complaints of watering and you are removing the sac, and again the patient goes back with the watering only. So you are not treating the complaint here. By definition, you can define DCT or the dacrocystectomy as the procedure which is done for the watering of eye, which involves the complete removal of the sac. Okay, complete removal of the sac is the DCT. But still there are some indications for DCT now also, like when you are having the tumors of the sac. Okay, any malignant tumor of the sac is an absolute indication for DCT. Next, the fibrotic sac, where you can't open up the sac and do the DCR surgery. So these are the two main indications for DCT. Coming to the investigations for DCT and DCR. So the investigations for DCT and DCR are quite different when you compare to the other surgical procedures in ophthalmology. Here we expect more bleeding. So rule out all the bleeding diathesis. Basically you should do bleeding time and the clotting time. Other investigations like RBS and the routine investigation, that is HIV and HBsAg. And here opinion from the ENT surgeons is must. They have to rule out the nasal pathology like the nasal polyps or the deviated nasal septum, and a fitness from the ENT surgeons is a must for DCT or DCR. And if you are planning for the surgery under general anesthesia, then you should get the related investigation for the anesthetic fitness. So these are the investigations what we do. So next, coming to the procedure of DCT, that is dacrocystectomy. So this is usually done under local anesthesia. The anesthesia what we use is usually the local anesthesia, that is 2% lignocaine. So that is injected around 2 to 3 mm medial to the medial canthus. Okay, we take around 6 to 7 ml of the local anesthetic agent. We inject straight into that point, that is in the orbicularis saculi, and inject 2 to 3 ml here, and then the needle is directed upwards, again inject 2 to 3 ml, and then downwards again inject around 2 to 3 ml. So this is the local anesthesia what we give for DCT. So after giving local anesthesia, after painting and draping the parts, we will give the incision, which is around 8 mm medial to the medial canthus. Okay, the incision's length is around 10 to 12 mm. It is around 8 mm away from the medial canthus. Why it is done there? It is to avoid the angular vein which comes here. Once you are medial to that, it means that you are avoiding the angular vein. So if you take this as the landmark for MPL, that is medial palpebral ligament, your incision should be just 2 to 3 mm above the MPL, and the remaining part of the incision will come down. It can either be straight incision, or it can be curved incision, or it can be even J-shaped incision. So this is the incision for both DCT as well as DCR. So once the incision is done, now we are with the orbicularis oculi muscle. Okay, so the orbicularis oculi muscle will be running like this, and it is attached to the MPL ligament as well. Skin is retracted with the cat's paw. So this is the instrument which is used. It is like the cat's paw. So it is used to retract the skin. Then we have the orbicularis oculi muscle below, and by blunt dissection this orbicularis oculi muscle is also separated. Then you will find the MPL, the medial palpebral ligament. So either you can preserve this ligament or you can cut open this. So once you cut open, you will have the bone below. Okay, so that is the anterior crest of the lacrimal bone. Anterior crest of lacrimal bone. So it is a hollow fossa like thing. So it has an anterior crest and the posterior crest and the fossa for the lacrimal sac. So here the lacrimal sac is sitting. So once you identify the anterior lacrimal crest, you will see the lacrimal sac there. Then you gently separate the lacrimal sac and then disinsert from the canalicular attachment. Then you go on twisting the sac. Then you can remove it from the nasolacrimal duct as well. So the sac is removed now, followed by the suturing of the orbicularis oculi muscle, followed by the suturing of the skin. So this is in brief about the steps of DCT. The complications with these procedures are usually minimal. There is not much of bleeding because you are not touching any of the mucosa here. Easy procedure, quick procedure. Even the surgeon's learning curve is very less. The only disadvantage is you are leaving the patient again with the watering. Okay. So this is about the DCT. The next procedure what we have, and which is the ideal procedure for the dacrocystitis, is the DCR, that is dacrocystorhinostomy. So in this we have the external approach or the conventional approach, endoscopic approach, and then the laser DCR. So before going to the procedure, what is the definition of this DCR? This is a bypass procedure. So what was happening normally, the tear film used to come from the punctum, enter the canaliculi, come to the sac and then go to the NLD and then open into the inferior turbinate and then get drained. But what we are doing here in the DCR is we are creating a passage here, okay, in the nasal bone. We are creating a ostium and creating a passage from the sac to the middle turbinate directly, okay, thereby helping in the drainage. So it is a bypass procedure. You are bypassing the inferior turbinate. So you can define it as a bypass procedure that creates an anastomosis between the lacrimal sac and the nasal mucosa via a bony ostium. The investigations are same as I told for the DCT, but preoperatively you will have to give some medications like ethamsulate. That is tablet ethamsulate is given 1 day prior to the surgery, 250 mg twice a day, and even on the day of surgery to achieve adequate hemostasis. That is the first thing. That is one difference between the DCT and DCR. And the second is the nasal packing. Before going further into the DCR steps, the nasal cavity is packed with a gauze piece. Okay, the nasal cavity is sprayed with a local anesthetic and a firm, tight nasal pack is done. That will prevent the bleeding to a great extent, because it will give a mechanical pressure. It will prevent bleeding to a great extent. That is one must thing before DCR surgery. The procedure of DCR can be done both under local anesthesia or the general anesthesia. Okay, GA is usually preferred in case of DCR surgeries. If you are going for the local anesthesia, the anesthesia what I explained for the DCT is applicable to the DCR also. Then local anesthesia is given in a similar fashion. And then the steps till the separation of the orbicularis oculi and the identification of the sac are same. First, the incision is given 8 mm medial to the medial canthus, and then the skin is separated with the cat's paw, and then the orbicularis oculi muscle is dissected and again separated with the cat's paw. You will identify the medial palpebral ligament, that is MPL. You can either cut open or either push it up and identify the anterior lacrimal crest. Then you have the nasolacrimal sac. So from here the surgical steps are little different. So now you have the anterior lacrimal crest and the lacrimal fossa here. So in this we have the nasolacrimal sac which is sitting here, okay, and on the other side we have the nasal mucosa. So what we are doing is, first we separate the nasolacrimal sac from the bone and create an ostium here, create an opening in the bone. Then you give an incision in the nasolacrimal sac and cut it open. Similarly, the nasal mucosa is also cut and the flaps are sutured. I will demonstrate this with the help of paper so that it will be easy for you to understand. So this is just an attempt to show how the DCR works. Suppose I am sitting at the patient's head end. So this is the patient's left eye. So we have the lacrimal sac here, okay. So this is the lacrimal sac and this is the nasal bone and this is the nasal mucosa. So what we are doing in this surgery, first is we are identifying the anterior lacrimal crest and separating the lacrimal sac from the lacrimal fossa. Then we are creating an ostium here. Because most of the students will get confused and they will not get orientation how this ostium is created, how these H-shaped flaps are created. So I thought of doing this demonstration. So now we have created an ostium in the nasal bone. So can you appreciate the ostium? So this is the ostium which is created in the nasal bone. So now we will make the flaps. So what book says is H-shaped flaps. So I think this is the H shape what the book tells. Okay, create the H-shaped flaps both in the, so this is the lacrimal sac and this is the nasal mucosa. So let's create it in both the nasal lacrimal sac and the nasal mucosa. So now we have created H-shaped flaps in both the sac as well as the nasal mucosa, and we have the ostium in the bone, that is the lacrimal bone. So what we do is we just suture the anterior flaps like this. Okay. So the anterior flap of the lacrimal sac is sutured to the anterior flap of the nasal mucosa, and the posterior flap of the sac is sutured to the posterior flap of the nasal mucosa. So thereby you are creating the ostium here. So can you appreciate the ostium? So the anterior flaps are sutured to each other and the posterior flaps are sutured here. So from the sac we have the access towards the nose. So the tear film will easily pass from the nasal sac to the middle turbinate. Okay. So after the flaps of the sac and the nasal mucosa are sutured, then you go ahead with the similar steps, that is closure of the orbicularis oculi with a 6-0 vehicle, followed by the closure of the skin. So this is the procedure for external DCR. After 24 hours, the nasal pack is removed and the lacrimal syringing is done. So that should show the patency, means the patient will appreciate the fluid in the throat if the ostium created and the surgery is success. Okay. So what are the complications of DCR surgery? The complications, the intraoperative complication is the bleeding. This is the most common complication in DCR surgery, that is bleeding. Then there may be some problems with creation of the ostium depending upon the thickness of the nasal bone. Other than that, the intraoperative complications are less. Post-operatively, there can be the blood clot which is blocking the ostium, or in the later stages there can be fibrosis which is forming there, and it may block the ostium, leading to failure of the surgery. So what are the indications for DCR surgery? So DCR, that is the external or conventional DCR, is ideal for any of the chronic dacrocystitis case. The only disadvantage with the DCR is the scar, the external scar which remains there in the site of incision. So if the patient is cosmetically concerned, they can go for other procedures. The success rate is almost 95 to 100% in case of external DCR. Coming to the endoscopic or the endonasal DCR, the concept remains the same, but approach is from the nasal side. That is, by using the endoscope, we are going through the nose. Okay. So we are entering through the nose and then we are approaching the nasal mucosa first. Then we are opening the nasal mucosa. Then the bone is cut. Then you are entering the sac. Okay. In the external DCR, it was from this way. From the endonasal DCR, you are going from the nose. But the major difference is, like what we aim in case of DCR is to create one ostium, and that ostium should be lined by the mucosa. So you are covering with the lacrimal sac as well as the nasal mucosa. But that is not happening in case of endonasal or the endoscopic DCR. So the flap what you have created is trimmed, okay, from both the nasal side as well as from the lacrimal sac area. So it is like a marsupialization of the sac. So it is in direct continuity with the nasal cavity, but there is no mucosa which is lining there. So the chances of blockage are because of the fibrosis or the inflammation are little more in case of endonasal DCR. The success rate is almost 70 to 75% in endonasal or the endoscopic DCR. Whereas in case of laser DCR, so what is laser DCR? So you are using laser first, okay. So what are the laser options we have? You can use either organ, erbium or Nd:YAG, even the diode laser can be used. Here we have a fiber optic probe, okay, which is of 400 to 600 micrometer semi-rigid fiber optic probe which will deliver the laser energy. Okay, so this probe is introduced from the lower canaliculi and then it is directed till it hits the nasal bone and the surgeon will feel a hard stop. Okay, I have explained what is hard stop and a soft stop in the previous videos. So surgeon will feel the hard stop and it means that the surgeon is at the medial end of the nasolacrimal sac. Then he will fire the laser. So it will create an ostium in the sac, then the bone and then the nasal mucosa, thereby creating the passage. But the success rate is very low here, almost around 60 to 65%. So what are the indications for laser DCR? So where the patient is suffering from the bleeding disorders. So if the patient is suffering from bleeding disorders or he is on any anticoagulant drugs for the long time. So the main concern with all these surgeries was the closure of the ostium what you have created. So for that you can go ahead with the intubation, that is called a silicone tube intubation. So what is done here is the silicone tube is passed from the upper canaliculi as well as from the lower canaliculi and then through the ostium and then it is left in the nasal cavity. Okay, so this is acting as a barrier for the fibrosis and thereby preventing the closure of the ostium. And the silicone tube can be removed after 3 to 4 months and that will achieve more good results compared to your DCR without intubation. Okay, and there is one more important complication called as sump syndrome. Okay, sump syndrome. So this is also one of the most commonly asked question in your Viva as well as in case presentation. So what is sump syndrome? If you have not placed the incision over the lacrimal sac properly, either it is too short incision or it is too higher up, then the remaining remnant of the sac itself will form a complete sac-like thing. So the fluid keeps on accumulating here, and that will lead to infection and inflammation of the lacrimal sac again. That is called as SUMP syndrome. So this is in detail about the surgical options for the epiphora, that is from the punctum till the nasolacrimal duct. In this, for the punctum, undergraduates can just know the name of the surgery, that is the snip procedure. In case of canalicular obstruction, again the name of surgery is more than enough, that is called as conjunctivo DCR, or also called as Lester's-Jones procedure. DCR and the DCT are the most important things. DCT means you are removing the complete sac. The absolute indications are either the tumor of the sac or the fibrotic sac. The other surgery, which is the ideal surgery, is the DCR or the dacrocystorhinostomy. And in that we have three types: the external DCR or the conventional one, the endoscopic or the endonasal, and the laser DCR. So each have the specific indications as well as the success rate. And all these can be combined with the silicone tube intubation to increase the success rate of the surgery. So hope this video on the surgeries for the epiphora was useful to all of you. If you like my videos, please do subscribe to my channel. Press the bell icon for further notifications. Please do like and share my videos. Thank you so much.